Well, hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. This is another Scottless episode, as we like to call them,
Yeah,
of the Grid.
If you watched last week, you saw that both of his guests said, "Oh, that's it, Scott, you're off the show." And so
Yeah, and look
that's
what
it.
happened.
Yeah, magic.
That's what happened. No, actually, Scott is at a seminar. He's up in Charlotte doing the Lightroom on tour.
So he's taking a seminar?
No, he's teaching a seminar.
Oh, Scott's teaching a seminar.
Yeah,
Imagine
he does that from time to time.
Yeah, that is very cool. I've been watching Scott teach seminars for 15 years.
Yeah, well, it's been 10 for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Good stuff, though. I've learned a lot.
Stuff.
You know what I always liked is when Scott would go to see somebody else teach, because he's always learning. He's absorbing.
Oh, yeah.
And he would learn a new technique, or he'd go see like Rick Salmon or Joe McNally or something. And I always liked the day that he came back, because he's still processing all this stuff. So he spent all weekend long with these great photographers, and he would sit down in my office for like 15, 20 minutes to tell what he learned. And what was so cool for me is I got to learn what he learned in a condensed version. I didn't have to pay to go to the seminar. And Scott is relearning by teaching.
Yeah.
It was such a cool thing.
No, it really is cool. And I've had that many opportunities like that where we'll go out to lunch or something, just be talking about a new technique or new training that we saw, and always trading ideas and stuff like that. So
Yeah, it's
really
good
cool
stuff.
Of course, that's just around here. You know, that's just the environment around here.
Yeah,
but today, like you were saying. So today.
Okay, so today is a continuation of last week. So it's part 2 of the cool ideas for photographers for holiday gifts, Christmas gifts. And last week, Scott started the whole thing off. Well, he actually did it earlier than last week. So he has the holiday wish list or gift list.
Yeah, the gift guide in the magazine.
Okay.
Correct, yeah.
So he's got that. And then separately, he did on the Grid last week a whole bunch of different stuff that was under $99 or under 100. So some $99 items. And so I decided that I would continue that, and all the things, and I've got like 12 or 15 different things here today, all of them under $100.
And I decided to just buck the system and just do good, cool stuff.
I know you get to talk about this awesome nerd stuff that's
well, no,
pricey.
I mean, I try to keep somewhat contained, but sometimes you got to splurge, you know.
I understand.
Just, like, spend a little bit more.
So almost everything that's on my list I already own. And almost everything on your list is exactly what I would like my wife to pay attention to as she watches the Grid today. So that's gonna be the way to do it. Now, do you want to start off, or I have one pulled up?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. So we're gonna jump right into it.
Yeah, so I have one pulled up already, and while this looks like a video light, I mean specifically that's initially what it's intended for. This is from a company called Neewer. You can see on there that I purchased.
I love that stuff.
Yeah. I purchased this on, and a lot of people call it Newer, and I always say Neewer because if you just say Newer, then people type in N-E-W-E-R, and that's wrong. So it's two E's at the beginning.
I call it Newer.
Yeah, I know. So it's Newer. And so here it actually is. This is the actual thing itself. If you'll come back to the set, I'll show you the one that I have, and I have it on my Platypod Ultra. So this is mine. And the reason that I like this, you can, it's got a cold shoe. You can put it on your camera. It's initially intended, I mean, in the real world, it's intended for what they call run and gun video. So if you're doing video with a DSLR rig or something like that, this is very inexpensive. It's $30 for this.
Crazy
Now,
cheap.
it runs on 6 AA batteries, but I have found over time that those 6 AA batteries, they wear out pretty quickly. It runs down fairly quickly. So what I did was I went ahead and spent a few bucks more. I think it's another 20 or 30 bucks. And I got the charger and 2 of the batteries. So you can either do a rechargeable battery, which is what I have in it now, or the 6 AA. So there's the rechargeable battery.
A proprietary, or is that
no?
Like a Sony
this is yeah. They
it
say
looks like a Sony.
Yeah, they say it's not actually Sony brand. So it's compatible battery, which is not included. Is Panasonic SD series lithium-ion battery. So yeah, it's an alkaline.
So it's something you can find readily.
Oh yeah, but it's actually here on the site itself. So so you can see you can actually buy it with softbox and 2 rechargeable batteries and the charger and $66. So you get that whole thing.
How much that used to cost? Like years ago.
I know. But this is so reliable. It's so incredibly bright.
Crazy.
But let me tell you how this works in my house, because this is actually kind of funny. So this one sits on my desk at my house, and I have this in it because I do some online meetings. And one of the things that I know from having been on video for so many years is I need a little bit of uplight in most lighting situations. So when I'm Skyping from my desk, I just flip this thing on with the warm diffuser, and that came with it. So I'll flip that on, and it kind of lights me from below. And people tune into my Skypes or my Zoom calls or whatever, and they're like, "Man, your lighting is so good." And I do have some torch lights that are daylight balanced that are on either side of me, bouncing off a white ceiling. And then I have this thing underneath in front of me, and I'm like,
doing a little film.
I'm like, no, this is what I look like all the time. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, I do that little fill. Now, this also, with this on it, is on my wife's makeup table. Most of the time, that's where it lives, because she has a makeup mirror and it doesn't have enough brightness, and she wants a little bit more, and she likes the daylight version of it. So again, these are daylight bulbs. So if you just put the white frosted thing there, it's the daylight balance. And then the last thing that we use this for, my son always comes and grabs this whenever he's working on the car up underneath the car. Lights up the whole area. So you just crank it up, and he's working underneath the car, and you can work late at night.
Bright too.
It is incredibly bright. Yeah. So that was my first one.
Well, let's see. We got some viewers tuning in. We got somebody from Columbus. So we got Avian, and then Roz, first time here. Welcome, Roz. Let's see. We got Susan Hill here from nearby Tampa, Florida. Oh, and look at, I got Christy Kuna from. I'm assuming she's from Tampa, Florida too.
It could happen.
She's saying, figures you'd like to go for the splurge items, Eric, when it comes to technology. Yes, Christy, you know I do not like to feel limited.
That is true.
Yes. So,
and Robert
Norris. Hey, Eric and Scott. And then we've got Stuart there from Scotland saying, hey, from Scotland.
Yeah.
So, all over the world.
All over the world. And I think they have Amazon in Scotland, I've heard.
Yeah, they probably do. So yeah, so you get, so it's that. So the next thing that I have is actually something that Larry is using right now, and that is this Anker battery. This is, you don't have to get this Anker battery, but this is a great gift for anybody.
It is.
And that is a portable power bank, USB power bank. So with this, you're going to get 2 channels of USB out, 1 to charge it.
Yeah.
And I think this battery is 20,000 milliamp hours. So that will charge like your iPhone like 10 times. It'll charge your iPad like 4 times. It will charge batteries.
Can I add to this that I also have an Anker brand battery like this, and I've had several others, and there are little ones, and they're all over the place. But the Anker brand are really performers. So they actually hold the charge, but then they'll keep working and keep working and keep working. So a year later, I have the same performance out of my Anker, and I had some no-name brand batteries that, like a year later, they were not producing the same charge.
And yeah, this is their site, but I know you can get it on Amazon much cheaper.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
Yeah, always go to Amazon or B&H. We like B&H too.
Absolutely.
And
we don't even have a drinking game for the Amazon today because you are the Amazon guy.
Yeah.
And I've got all kinds of Amazon.
I mean, your whole thing's Amazon.
No, it's not. I got some B&H stuff, but I got so many.
So what do you got next?
Okay. So next, if you want to show my screen, I'm just going to jump through this one really quick. This is, I forgot to mention, this is also available in a twin pack. So the single light itself is.
I mean, the prices there are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because, you just think back, and I know probably, Juan, all the guys here in video, like when we were, like those lights would have been.
But you don't have to just use them for video.
$400.
I use these.
Oh yeah, you could use it for anything.
I use them for photography.
Absolutely.
For using something else I'm going to show later on. Like that. But you can use them in photography for lighting an environment or lighting up something really small for like macro photography. Gel in front of it. Product photography. You can do all kinds of things. Okay, so let me show you my other one. This is really cool. I bought this. You can see it says there you purchased it in January of 2017. This is a really cool thing. It is $9.99, and it works with either Android or iOS. You can see that it actually says Android. Oh, sorry, I'm not paying attention to the camera. Yeah. So what you can do is actually start video recording on your phone when your phone is mounted on some kind of mount, maybe an Archon mount somewhere across the room or something like that. Just push the button and it'll start the video recording, or it will take pictures. And it's a simple little thing to have for $10. And I know a guy that does regular daily videos using his smartphone, and he doesn't want to actually be touching the screen. Yeah. You know, that looks kind of cheesy when you've got your smartphone there, but he mounts it, and so there's no shake, and he just pushes the button. It's kind of hidden out of the way, and he just pushes the button to start, and he'll do his whole little thing, and then he finishes his broadcast, and he hits the button to stop. And it's just the coolest thing to be able to do that with a little $10 gadget. Yeah,
and it's funny because we talked a little bit before, but I actually have that same one too.
Do you really?
It's the same one. Same exact one.
All right, what have you got next?
So I got something cool. If you're into like wireless, like triggering your camera. So, you know, if you like to do wirelessly triggering or kind of smart triggering
much more
and stuff like that. So MyOps has some really cool triggers, right? And I don't know if you ever checked them out, but they have this one that's really neat. It's called a mobile dongle. And basically all it is you can see it right there. It connects to your smartphone, and then that connects to your camera. So you get one that connects to your smartphone, and then you can control your camera. So basically with that cable, your smartphone becomes a smart trigger. And what that means is instead of just doing like certain things, you can go through and there's a whole list of stuff that you can use on your smartphone. I mean, they just have a whole list of different features that
yeah, because you normally think about it just it's going to activate the shutter.
Yeah, but this will work off of like it'll use the microphone in your smartphone to trigger off a sound. It'll use the it'll allow you to do vibrations. Say your smartphone moves or something moves with it. It'll do that. It'll do bulb ramping. It'll do motion. You can actually set it up to where when the smartphone camera sees something moving in the frame, it will take a picture. So it's basically like turning your camera into a smart trigger. It's like using the sensors that are inside your camera. So instead of having to buy another trigger, because that's what you end up doing is just buying another trigger, it's basically taking and making use of all the gadgets and gadgets in your smartphone. They also have this cool one, which is a mobile remote, which actually is wireless then. It's a little bit more, you know, for this one, but it works out the same principle where you're going to get those same features where you can do a cable release, time release, you know, HDR, motion, vibration, sound, all those things, except it's wireless then, you know. And then if you're really into it, they do have this awesome trigger, which is called the Smart, which actually will work without the smartphone, but then allows you to do all that stuff. This one will even do laser triggering, so you can set up a laser, point it back at the sensor, and when something breaks the plane of the laser, it fires the trigger.
Unbelievable.
And you can connect your flashes to it to fire your flashes as well.
That is so cool.
So it's really cool. I mean, it's something you guys should check out. You know, if you haven't checked out, you could start with the mobile dongle, but there's also they have.
So
products.
How much is the
So the dongle is about $30, and then it steps up to about $80, I think, for the mobile remote, and then the smart unit is $220.
Okay, so the dongle is going to come with a free app for your phone?
Yes.
And is it iOS and Android?
You know what? I don't know. Being so married to iOS, I don't know. Sometimes I'm sorry about that. I'm bad.
Well, I didn't mean to throw you the curveball.
iOS and Android support.
That's
and
very
it's $37 on here, but you can get it cheaper other places.
Very cool.
Yeah. So very cool. Yeah. I mean, that's a neat. They have a neat line of products, especially if you want to get into triggering your camera remotely. And that laser trigger is very cool. They also have an infrared trigger on the smart one, where if something infrared comes into the scene, like so an animal walks by,
that's amazing.
It'll trigger it. Yeah.
I just remember testing out so many different kinds of triggers over the years, and they're all very specialized and they're all very expensive. And here you're just taking advantage of all the things.
Well, and Kevin's asking how well will that trigger work for lightning? The mobile one will work for lightning, probably not great, because that one would rely on a change in the lighting. You'd have to get the smart trigger, and the smart trigger does work for lightning.
Okay.
I mean, that definitely works for lightning. It has a sensor in there, and the response is in less than milliseconds.
But also it can react to sound, and granted, you can't wait for the thunder to come through. No. But if you scream whenever you see lightning,
yeah, you could. Yeah,
work.
if you screamed. But yeah, no, it's really cool too. You can set up smart triggers. It has an external port as well where you can program your own triggers if you know how to like be all nerdy about that stuff. It gives you the pins. What does that even mean? So like you could create a trigger that triggers off of something else, like water dropping into a cup, and trigger it based on, ripples in the water. And then you could have a sensor that you plug into that sensor that then fires the camera. But that's too far for me. I just use the built-in stuff.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so the name of the website again?
It's MyOps. So MIOPS.com.
Easy enough to remember?
Yes.
All right,
definitely.
let's look at some of the comments that are coming in. Doug Holk says hello from Fresno.
Hey, Doug.
D. Johnson Smith, hello from Missouri. And I even said that right. I know it's not Missouri because I used to live there. I grew up in St. Louis till I was 12 years old, and so I got to enjoy the snow. I never had to shovel it, and I never had to drive in it. I just got to slide down the hill, and then I moved to Florida, where everything is better, except the snow. I kind of miss the snow a little bit. And then
Daniel's there from Zurich, Switzerland.
Talk about snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kevin's asking about any update on when the Flashbook's shipping out. I do not have an update.
Yeah, I haven't heard.
Yeah, so
it's an amazing book, though. I did get to flip through one of the few copies that's here.
All right, so we do have to take a quick break.
Okay,
and then we'll be back, and then we'll pick it up with your items and just roll through. I know we got a lot of really cool items to talk about coming up. So see you in just a little bit.
Hello, my name is Trey Ratcliffe. I am addicted to HDR photography. My favorite tool in the world has come along. There's a new version. It's called Aurora HDR. I absolutely love this tool. Pretty much every situation has a place for Aurora HDR. I just made a multi-course lesson. The best secret thing about it is that it's fun, and it's easy, and it's very approachable. I've learned a lot over the years. I've made a lot of mistakes, so now you can learn from my mistakes and see some of the best ways to make images. Come on over and watch my class exclusively on Kelby One.
Have you ever wanted to learn Photoshop? Of course, everybody wants to learn Photoshop. You know why? It's Photoshop. But here's the thing, it just takes so long. Or does it? What if I could get you up and running and really have you start doing the stuff that people really want to do, and I can have you do it in just 1 hour? If that sounds good to you, come watch my class. It's called Learn Photoshop in just 1 hour. We're going to cover so many things in just 1 hour. You are not going to believe how much you're going to learn. And here's what's going to happen. You're going to start at not knowing Photoshop. An hour later, you're going to go, son of a gun, I know Photoshop. Come with me on this journey. It's 1 hour that will change your life, will teach an awesome new skill, and it's exclusively here at Kelby One.
Hi guys, my name's Tim Wallace. I work as a professional commercial photographer. Now I know that there's loads of photographers out there that are superb at what they do, and they'd love to be able to turn it into a business and make a living from it. I've put together a 2-part business class talking about things like portfolios, how we put them together, what's their purpose and what they actually mean. We talk about things like quoting, invoices, licensing, copyright, all these things that you really need to know and why they're crucially important to succeed and have a better chance of succeeding if you start a business, or even if you've got an established business and you want to push forward into new ground. I'd love to see you there. I'd love you to join me. Come and join me and watch my class on business, part 2, kelby1.com.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Westcott, professional photo and lighting equipment.
All right, well, we're back, and we're gonna just take off here.
Yeah,
right?
we were talking over the break, and it's like, how many more do you have? We have tons.
We have tons more.
We're gonna zip through these really quick. I'm gonna jump over to mine, and
I cannot believe this one.
Yeah, I have and use and love my Westcott Flex lights. I have Flex panels, but a friend of mine told me about these. A good videographer named Brandon Ford. And he told me about this light.
Oh, yeah.
This is
Brandon
incredible.
Ford.
It's about a 1x1. I don't know if it's physically 1x1. It actually has, it's a bicolor light. So it's daylight to tungsten, totally tunable, digitally tunable.
Look at that, CRI of 96.
Yeah,
that's good.
That's accurate. This is an amazing thing. It comes with that U bracket. And I'm talking, if you're a photographer and you're even thinking you ever might want to do video, or even if you don't, if you just want a constant light.
So you've used this one?
Well, that's why I'm saying said Brandon's name, because he's used it and recommended it.
But you've never used it.
I personally have never used it. I'm using.
But I've seen Brandon's videos. His videos are great.
Yeah, and he loves it. He bought 2 of these before the price dropped to $83.
$83.
And look at this right here.
Crazy.
There's a little package that you could get with 2 batteries and a charger. $104.97. So it runs off AC.
Yeah.
But you can actually get batteries and $104.
And those things last on the batteries a few hours. Yeah.
If you don't go to full power, so my thing with the newer or the newer products, if you go to like 80% brightness, it's really bright and it'll last hours. If you go up to full power, it's really, really bright, and then it goes down to like an hour, something like that. But that's another one. What you got next?
Well, I just saw some questions up here.
Oh, yeah.
Johan was asking, I'm thinking about getting a good VR camera next year. Any recommendations? I will in just a little bit. Oh boy, Donna was saying, oh boy, when y'all gonna do these great gadgets, I always get in trouble. So yeah, that definitely happens to me too when I see other people doing this. And NC was saying, love your gift ideas. Some I've never heard before. So hopefully we get into some of the ones that definitely haven't heard before. So the next thing is probably something you have heard of, but I definitely think it's something that people should entertain if you want to get into drone photography and drone videography, and that is the DJI Spark. This thing, and I have one right here, is so small, it's ridiculous. Like, people don't realize how small this thing is, and how that really does change when you're doing drone photography and videography.
Absolutely.
When you're using something this small, one, it's very inconspicuous. The phantoms and stuff, when you put those things up in the air,
they're just
it's like yeah, well, and you're like, you're just drawn to them. These things kind of blend in a little bit. And the other thing is, because of that, it's kind of not as intimidating. And it has the sensors in it to avoid stuff.
Sure.
It has the this has a 2-axis gimbal. But they were just doing a special on these things, and it was $400
at B&H.
They had them everywhere was doing a special on them.
Wow.
But then they'll probably get that again. I think it went back up to $500.
Yeah.
But you're gonna probably see these around Christmas, if not right after Christmas, back down at $400. But it's really cool, and it's just something, if you're interested in drone photography or wanting to get into it, it's a great entry point into the market, is this thing.
Exactly.
And what I would recommend, though, is if you can, go get the remote with it.
Okay.
Because you can control it with your smartphone. You just can't control it at a long distance. And the remote, too, kind of helps with the remote, where with this, you get more of like exact control.
Can you program flight patterns in? Things like that?
With the app, the Spark, you cannot yet do a lot of that stuff that you can do with like the Mavic.
Right.
But it's coming. I mean, they're going to start programming that stuff. But it's really easy to use, and this will allow you to control it up to like 2 miles away or something like that.
That's awesome.
Which I never want to go that far away anyways.
And don't ever do anything illegal with your...
Oh, yeah. You definitely don't want to do that.
I would be curious about, on a super windy day, are those more susceptible to getting blown around or having issues?
Actually, I think it's a lot of times better, because you don't have as much surface area to deal with, right? So it's not like, it's like when you got those big ones, you got more surface area. So they're actually more aerodynamic.
That's incredible.
And it's just crazy. I mean, it can fit in a pocket if you wanted to. I mean, if you look at, like, there's the charger, here's like, to comparison, like there's an iPhone. You know, it's like the size, the iPhone covers it, right?
That's incredible.
I mean, that's how small it is. So it's really cool.
All right, jump over and let's see. I want to say hi to a couple of people. Andy H is saying hello from Otley, UK. Hello, Andy H.
Yep.
Jim Kearns, Newer makes a USB adapter for camera batteries.
Yep.
Heard about that, and we actually
got one.
As soon as we saw Jim Kearns mention that, you ran out and got one.
Yep, I did.
Yeah, that's it.
I did buy one.
And Christine, hi from South Carolina. All right, I'm going to jump into my next one. And I saw this on an online video review. I'd love to give credit to the videographer who did it, but I don't remember his name. But what it is there are a bunch of microphones out there for video. And I saw this one side by side, this Movo VX-R10. And I'm showing it here on Amazon, but I actually bought it directly from Movo through Amazon. And so I just got it like day before yesterday. But I love Rode microphones. I swear by Rode microphones. Mm-hmm. This one was reviewed side by side with the $60 comparable Rode mic. This one sounded so much better. Mm-hmm. And I never say that about Rode mics, but this one sounded so much better. It's $40. So I just got mine in time to test it out. I haven't even done anything with it yet because it just showed up just a couple days ago. So you can see I purchased it on December 6th, and it just showed up like a day or two ago.
Yeah.
Can't wait to use that. Comes with the Dead Cat Fuzzy Wind Buster. It plugs directly into my DSLR camera, and it also comes with the adapter for smartphones. So it's TRS, TRRS, either or. And it sounds amazingly good, and you know that's a big part of.
You're gonna have to let us know like what you.
I'll send you a video with it.
Yeah, very cool. So Fred is actually saying that the Spark is $349 on B&H right now. Let's go look it up. It's right here, $349. Yeah.
There you go.
So I mean, if you're if you're going to get into drone photography, videography, this is a great entry point. And at that cost, like it's such a great starter, to get into it. And I've done drone videography and photography, but I'm excited about it just because of how small, lightweight, inconspicuous it is.
$349 if you've even been thinking about it.
Now's the time. Yeah.
Yes, if you're thinking about it, tell your spouse, now I want this for Christmas, especially with that price. What's your next?
So my next one is something that just came out. I'm very excited about this. I've never done anything with it, but it looks really cool. And that is Movi just came out with their new camera stabilizer for smartphones. DJI's had theirs.
Yeah.
And it's cool. We have one, it's nice. But it's one of those where you're holding it up and you're moving around kind of like a selfie stick.
Yeah.
Right? What's cool about theirs is the style is it's got a flat bottom, so you can put it on stuff, so you can set it down, which I really like.
Nice.
And it's one of those where your control is over here, so it's kind of like you're operating a camera, because that's what we're kind of used to. But what's really cool about it is they have these really neat modes that you can do with it. These shooting modes, like they have this one, which is really cool, which is it's called a Movi lapse, right? And it's like a time lapse you can do with the Movi, to where it'll speed it up, and then it almost looks like the world's kind of like what were those called? Like that.
Oh, there it is.
So it's kind of this bizarre time lapse.
That is so cool.
Hyperlapse. It's like the hyperlapse stuff that you're doing, but then it'll do like just normal stuff, like the majestic mode that they have in the fancier Movies, the more expensive Movies,
right.
They put it down into the smartphone size. And now that your smartphone's shooting 4K video and doing that kind of stuff, I mean, these tools are really cool for photographers and videographers trying to get into that stuff. It even has this mode on the time lapse where you can actually set an out point, and then it will pan the camera, to those in and out points over a period of time. And it's as simple as clicking the buttons for your endpoint, click the button for the out point.
So you're setting up your time lapse.
Hit the start, and it goes. So it's not like you have to do a lot of programming. It just kind of goes. So I mean, this is a really cool thing. I haven't played around with one yet, but from what I've seen, it's really cool. So
that is very cool. Yeah. Very cool. Okay, so next up, you guys know I do a bunch of classes here on Kelby One. And I also have some stuff that I've done on my own. And, you know, a lot of the trainers here at Kelby One have their own stuff. I have mine over at larrybecker.tv. And so what I've actually got 3 classes. It's actually 2 classes and a mini class, but I put them on super sale for the holidays. So through the end of the year, I've got them below half price. So right now, the full classes, these are bigger classes. I've got one all about being on camera. So if you're even thinking about doing promotional videos for yourself, for your photography business, or doing them for clients as part of your photography business, this is a really good one. It's about being great on camera. What's your messaging? How does that all work? And that class is on sale for $49, down from $99. Next year, after the first quarter of next year, I haven't told anybody this, but it's going up to $149. So it's actually like a third of the price. But this is the lowest price that it's ever been. Well, cool. So that's being great on camera. The mini class is how to do your first welcome video. So that's the one on the right there. And my brand newest class, and this one I'm really excited about, it's helping people who are photographers make more money by adding simple video. And what do you have to do as a photographer? So I don't teach photographers photography, and I don't step back that much. I just go straight into what do you need to do to add to your photography business to make a little bit of money with video. So simple video with the camera you already have, tell you all the stuff you need to know. And my special for today that I'm doing with you guys, for anybody that buys this, that hears this, because I haven't written this down anywhere, anybody that sends an email to hilarry@larrybecker.tv and just put in the subject line, free coaching. And what I'll do is if you buy one of the 2 full classes, not the mini class, but if you buy one of the 2 full classes and you send me an email that just says free coaching, I will give you a 30-minute Skype or telephone coaching call and answer any additional questions that you have, help you with your business, help you coach you through any of that for anybody that buys either of the full classes. And I'll do that for the rest of this year.
Cool. Awesome. Well, that's it. And I've seen a lot of I've seen your videos, and it's really cool. I mean, and it's lit by all those things that you're talking about, probably. Right?
Yeah. I got all that gear going on, and I do talk about
and I think
gear.
that's what's cool is like it is showing like there's just all you got to you're teaching the essentials to get you up to speed, not going into too deep of the theory where it's like I don't need to know everything. I just need to know how to get up and running with this stuff.
Yeah, one of the things I don't teach is like all the camera angles and multiple cameras and jib shots and all that stuff. Just how do you do it super simple and still look professional so that you can charge people for it instead of it just looking hacky like a vertical video or shake cam or something like that.
Yeah, and so we got so Cheeky Nando, I think, was he asking about the previous one? So that's a Movi. It's the Movi handheld, and actually, then Johan was asking him on the Movi how sound regulated. Sounds internal on the camera, so whatever your camera is, you could always sync to an external device.
Yeah,
you could
always add something like this,
add something to it. Yeah. You know, there's many things you could do at that point. It's really just relying on your smartphone for the audio. Of course, you know, you could always sync and post like a lot of people do. Sure. I have a little Zoom, recorder, and then you just hook up a lav to it, Zoom recorder, and then sync it up and post. And if you're
now
using
you've
something
got a
like,
video background, so what he's actually talking about is, and a lot of people do this, they have a really good digital recorder. Yep. Tiny little one is fine. Yeah, and like you run that to whatever microphone that you've got, and then just synchronize that and drop it into your editing app.
You just clap or something, and you get that peak. And then actually Premiere now will sync it up for you, right?
Yeah, that's very really cool.
So my next thing is something along the lines of the Movi. They actually worked with Movi, but if you're ever seeing shots from an iPhone that look really cool, they got a wide angle to them, you're like, how are they getting it? They usually have an attached lens, you know, so you got a lens. These guys, Moment Lens, make probably the best attachment lens. Like if you want a really good wide angle attachment, these are the guys. They actually worked with FreeFly to put together, a system with their stuff. But I love their Moment lenses. So they have this case with this wide angle lens, and their lens is very clear. Like, like we care about that.
I know you're picky about that.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, especially if you're going to do like landscapes and stuff with the iPhone and stuff like that. You always need that little bit extra wide angle because the iPhone's got that, narrow, like 35,
things.
millimeter kind of like view. I think actually it's like 24 or something at the widest setting or something like that. But it just kind of gives you that little wider of an angle, which you always want. And their stuff's really cool. And they actually make it to where it comes with a case that attaches to the case. And they have a whole system, but there's somebody to check out if you're looking at.
Well, I imagine the cool thing there would be if you upgrade your phone, you keep your lenses, but just get a different case.
Yes, exactly.
So that makes the investment
it's really
worthwhile.
cool. They've been going for a few years now, and they make high quality iPhone lens attachments.
Ballpark on some of the prices on those?
It's $99, if not cheaper. So like the cases are like $30.
Yeah.
The lenses are about 180 something around there.
Right.
It just matters on what type of lenses you want, what quality of lenses you want.
How much is the Movi?
The Movi is $299. That one is a little pricier.
Yeah, but it's worth it because I bought a Landpart gimbal.
Yeah.
And it was great. And it was like cutting edge at the time, but that's just.
Well, I love what I really like about it is that you can set it down like that.
Yeah.
That's the problem with the Osmo is you can set it down, you can do stuff, and to the way the ergonomics of this one is, the way you're holding it like that, kind of like more of a traditional camera.
I like the time lapse option.
Oh yeah, there's so many cool things about that. But I haven't got my hands on one yet, but really want to. And just to kind of just piggyback off of that, on the topic of the iPhone, one thing that I think a lot of people could benefit from if you're using a lot of these smaller sensors is some attachments. The big thing is for your smartphone is if you get an ND filter. Getting an ND filter when you have a smaller sensor. I remember again you said video background, right?
Sure.
So when we used to shoot video, we used to have like mini DV format, and there was a very small sensor, right? And we try to emulate some shallow depth and field. The best way to do that is to cut the amount of light in your lens, so you can slow down the shutter speed, so you can kind of fool it into thinking that. And that's where these ND filters come in handy. Like one there that I have for the iPhone is one where it just goes basically over the top of your iPhone. So you take this, and it has a threaded adapter.
Cool.
So you can put it on, and then it just clamps right over your
How many
iPhone.
stops are those?
This one's a variable. This one will go from 0 to, I think 6 stops. This one will go to.
Okay, ballpark on that.
This one, like 40. Now
that's really cool.
These are $59 on the website. You can get it a lot cheaper other places.
Okay.
It's MSRP.
Okay,
so,
and a name. Give me something.
So you have Sandmark makes the good ones. They actually also make attachments for the for your aerial drones as well. So what's cool about, again, the smaller sensor aerial drones like the Mavic and the Spark, when you got that smaller sensor, putting just a 4-stop ND or a 3-stop ND, if you're shooting during the day, that will slow down your shutter speed and kind of just make it look a little bit more cinematic. Allow you also to, because you can lower that shutter speed down where you're not shooting at such, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 on your shutter speed. It kind of lowers it down, gives it a little more cinematic look. So it's just a way to kind of like push the range on those smaller sensors. Because that's one of the things that the smaller sensors limit you on. Is you just have that drawback to them. Yeah,
and I can see where that would really smooth things out. You would get more cinematic, a more cinematic effect. I'm going to show you something that is just a go-to. And if you're fairly new to photography, this might be new to you. You might have heard you got to have a softbox, you got to have this, got to have that. One thing I heard years ago, if you only get one light modifier, and I'll tell you who I learned this from, was Zach Arias. He said, if you only get one light modifier of everything and you're shooting with a flash, the one light modifier to go for is something called a shoot-through umbrella, but a convertible umbrella. So mine just went out. Hang on, let me bring mine back. So this is a convertible umbrella because what's cool about it is it's a shoot-through umbrella that has a cover on it. So it can either be a shoot-through or a reflector umbrella. And they're all different sizes. I actually have one here that I got from B&H. It's an impact umbrella. But the ones that I recommend are the 60-inch. So 60-inch for $30. It's incredible that you can do that. You do need an umbrella bracket on your light stand, and then you just mount it there. But what Zach Arias, the reason that I like it is you can shoot through, you can bounce it, And Zach actually mounted his on his light stand like this. So kind of collapsed. So you don't need to open up your 60-inch umbrella this isn't, by the way, a 60-inch, but you don't need to open it all the way up. You can have it kind of collapse down and really kind of compress the total amount of light that's there in your scene. So tremendous investment. Look at convertible umbrellas, and even the house brand from B&H, the Impact house brand, great convertible umbrellas. And I see we're supposed to go to break soon.
Yeah, we are. Just to answer a few questions before we go to break. Any yearly discounts on the Adobe photography plan? We are actually working with Adobe on a discount for our members, just with the transition that they've been having with their the Lightroom Photoshop stuff that they've been going through.
Sure.
There was some issues to deal through there, but we should have a discount soon. And then somebody's asking what that email is again that you talked about. So where to email
on mine?
You? Yeah.
Yeah. So mine is hi Larry, just hi Larry at LarryBecker.tv. Hi Larry at LarryBecker.tv. And just in the email, make sure you put free coaching. Probably do that in the subject line, free coaching, and then tell me which item you bought. And obviously, you do want to use the same email address that you used to buy the class. So if you buy a class, use the same email address. Send me an email that's to hi Larry at LarryBecker.tv.
And then there is a question about from Donna. Is there a gadget that enables you to use a regular tripod for your iPhone? Absolutely. I mean, there's tons of adapters.
Yeah, just go to Arkon, A-R-K-O-N.
Yeah,
and by the
Arkon
way, I have a
makes one.
discount code for you. It's my handle on Twitter, which is Becker, B-I-Z, Becker Biz. Use that, and you'll get at least 10% off. Sometimes they do it 20% off. So Becker, B-I-Z, over at Arkon, A-R-K-O-N. And they have all these. They have the one that's on your desk in your office right now.
Yeah, and this they have this one where it just kind of just expands out. You mount it to the tripod right down here, and that's it. I mean, they have so many different types.
Yeah, you can buy them usually save a little bit of money buying them on Amazon, but
if you go to Arkon's site,
if you go to Arkon's site, you'll see the full variety. And if you buy them on Arkon's site, my code Becker BIZ works. So give that a shot.
Yeah.
All right,
we'll be back in just a few minutes after this break.
Platypod Ultra, right? So this is like, instead of using a tripod, you use this.
Right.
I use this the entire time. And do you know what? Nobody ever said a word. If it said no tripods, I could put this up all day long. The image that you see on screen is inside this palace, Montserrat Palace, and this was the library in there. You know, I love libraries. Now, it was very low light, much lower light than that you were seeing there. And I knew that I would not be able to take like a multiple exposure, you know, like 3 exposures, you know. I knew I would not be able to handhold it. So I wanted to get the shot. So you know what I did? I put my platypod on the rope and stanchion.
What you got.
Now, you'll notice in this picture that it is off-center to the table. So all I did was, when the guard wasn't looking, I literally did. I took it, I just moved the post over to where the post was right in the middle. And so I just slid it over like a foot, and it was right in the middle of the table. So you can see it's nice and centered on the table. And this is my platypod on the floor. Where are all the people?
Yeah, I was going to ask, how long did it take to get that shot?
10 minutes.
10
Literally,
minutes?
see that little stone thing on the right?
Yep.
I just sat there with my platypod on the floor. But do you see what a super wide angle lens does down low? It just makes everything look so
like
epic
magic.
and big. So this is the library. Cool. Now, I couldn't believe how long the library was. I didn't expect it to be as long as it was. This is what? A platypod on the ground with a 14 millimeter. I am at rope and stanchion. I'm not allowed to go any further. There's security there. There's 2 guards there. I sat this down just like you see it. I'll put it sideways so you can see what it looks like. So I sat this down just like you see it, and literally I just reach down and go click. When you put a 70-200 on here, it mounts in the middle.
Yeah, so it's moving the weight up.
Yeah, it mounts in the middle and your camera's back here. I had absolutely no problems. I never had a situation where I thought it was going to fall over. It never fell over or anything like that. Here's the Max. Now, the Max is still very, very thin, right? But it's just wider and longer. This is rated to 100 pounds is what I heard. All right, and this one, this will hold anything. This will hold a 400, it'll hold anything. But this is what I use for like football remotes, you know, when the players are coming out and stuff. So anyway.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Platypod, the world's most compact tripod base.
All right, well, we're back with more gear ideas for the holidays.
Yeah,
and
crunch time.
You got another one.
I have another one. This is actually a play off of what Scott talked about last week. So last week, Scott said, this is a great lavalier microphone. No question, it is a great lavalier microphone. It's Smart Lav Plus. But, and it is my favorite sounding lavalier microphone of all of them out there. It's wired, 3-foot wire, so $80, $79 bucks.
Yeah, that's a little pricey.
And then you need to spend $25 to get the cable.
It's
And you
$100.
absolutely need to get that cable. But here's the alternate. Audio-Technica makes the ATR, and you want to write this down and get it from B&H because it's on sale at B&H right now. ATR 3350IS. Make sure you get the one with the IS because that comes with an extra adapter. By itself, this is a lavalier mic with a little battery capsule on there, 20-foot cord. Wow. So now you can be across the room. $20. It's normally $30, but $20 now, and it runs off of one LR44 battery. And so I absolutely can't recommend this highly enough. It sounds almost as good as that $110, $120 Rode solution. Now, granted, the Rode one does sound better. I've done side-by-side testing. The Rode sounds better, and the Rode doesn't require a battery. This one does require a battery, but this one is actually set up to go to your DSLR. And the Rode is set to work with smartphones. So you need an adapter. So you need to add a $25 adapter to the Rode setup. So now you're at about $140 for a Rode setup. I do have it. I do like it. I love it. But this, for $20, comes with the battery. The only problem is that it does run off that battery. And if you forget to flip that off, it'll run for days, 2 or 3 days. But if you put it away in your camera bag and it's on, you burn out that battery. So that's
what type of batteries is it? Like one of those?
It's a button cell, battery called the LR44. So here's my next recommendation: a 15-pack of LR44s from Amazon. You can see that I bought this there, and I think it was. I don't see a price on there.
You have to go see the buying option.
Yeah, so it must not be available. But it's usually like $10 for 15 of these. Yeah, there you go.
$10.
$10 for,
yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah. So, and just do just LR44 batteries, and you'll find different ones on Amazon, $8 or $10 for a 10 or 15 pack.
So I got one here, and this is it affects us more down here in Florida, but you know you get these silica packs, right? That come and stuff to keep the moisture out of, like when we get cameras shipped to us.
I usually eat mine.
Yeah, yeah, it's really good to eat, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it tastes really good, right?
Yeah, I use it as seasoning.
Yeah, yeah. So when you get those, they're usually trying to take the moisture out of stuff. So one of the things that you can do for your camera bags is get these little dehumidifiers and in the little cans. And what's cool about them is they're filled with that silica gel. You throw it in your camera bag, and what that's going to do is dehumidify your camera bag. Because one of the problems that we have is when we take those cameras out of the cold and we go outside.
You call it cold. I call it air conditioning.
Right. Right. Air conditioning, whatever you want to call it. And then we go out to the warmth. Immediately, all that humidity turns into condensation.
Yeah.
Well, if you can dry out that camera bag, it'll help a lot. So, and the cool thing about these is they're reusable. So you just pop them in the oven. There's instruction on there. You pop them in the oven, and it takes the moisture out of it.
That's
so it's just reusable, and it's just a cool thing. You can get 4 of them for $24. You don't have to buy 4 of them. You can buy 1 of them and just throw them in your camera bag. But there's different options. But that's basically just a tip. If you're ever going from changing temperatures and changing climates, a lot of times the moisture is what's going to cause that
Sure.
condensation. So take it out by just throwing this around your camera.
You know, I save those little silica packs and I toss them in my camera bag,
I
but
do
that's a way better solution.
Yeah, but I do the same thing whenever I get these. I always save them and throw them into stuff that I'm gonna use outside.
We have a comment from Bruce Williams Photography, and if it's who I think it is, hi Bruce. Bruce Williams Photography in Greater Orlando area, and he said, "Can you find out which mic they're using on set? I'm thinking of starting a YouTube channel, and I need a good mic." And these are the best mics for the human voice I've ever heard. I reviewed tons and tons and tons of podcasts as part of a fun project I was doing. And I found one guy that just sounded so much better than everybody else. And he said, you know, the secret is the Heil PR40. So it's H-E-I-L, Heil, PR40. And I will tell you, you can buy them in a lot of places. B&H has them. But there's a kit that comes with the mount, and this is a very specific windscreen. You can only get it one place, and that's BSW Broadcast something warehouse.
BSW.
So you want to go to BSW and look it up there, and I don't get anything for this. Go to BSW and look up the Heil PR40 there, because they have a kit that just for a few bucks more you get this windscreen and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yep. Cool.
Okay.
So what else you got?
Next up. And I hate to say it, but it's newer. And I didn't do this on purpose, but I bought this back in 2016. I was looking for a cocoon for some product photography. This is an awesome cocoon, $27, and it's almost a cubic yard. It's 32 inches by 32 inches, and it comes with these backdrops that actually Velcro in. So a blue one, a red one, a white one, and a black one. By the way, those suck. That's the technical term for them. They're terrible. I guess they're okay, but they're made of this real crinkly stuff, and I always get. I tried steaming it out.
Right.
It's just not good. So what I do is I use the cocoon, and I set up my lights, like my newer lights that we showed first. I'll put one on each side, and then I've got another Westcott light that I'll put on top. So it just kind of puts the whole cocoon in light, and then I put products into it on a piece of curved poster board. So I just put a piece of poster board in there and whatever product shots I'm doing. And it's this gorgeous white environment. You just stick your camera in and it's got this glow of white all around it. And I'll show you mine. Right. This is what it folds up like. So this is really fairly small, but it pops open to this big 32 by 32 by 32 cube. And I don't want to do that here. It will take up half of the desk. But a very cool product for under 30 bucks at Amazon.
Cool. Well, Johan was asking earlier about VR. We have like I have one camera that I think's really cool in that space of 360 video. It's not full 3D because that's what you kind of have to determine is if do you want to go 3D. Right. Still, if you want to go 3D, you got to have two lenses and on each camera, so then you're multiplying that by how many. Yeah. So it becomes a little bit more expensive. Those are still, if you want to get in that realm, you're still looking at thousands of dollars. But if you want to get into the 2D VR where you're doing, stills and video like that, I really like. That's
what most people are consuming is that kind of 3D.
Yeah. So I really like Insta360. I really love their Insta360 one that they came out with this year. Okay. Because it's standalone. It doesn't require you plugging into the iPhone. They actually also make one now for the Android as well. This one's the iPhone. But what's cool is it can operate standalone. It also has a tripod mount, as you see like here, where you can put it on a tripod.
What happens with the images? Do they go to an SD card?
Yeah, there's a little micro SD card in there. It also has that little lightning adapter that you can plug it into your phone and download the images or run it off your phone. But it can run independently, and it's just really cool. I mean, it shoots in RAW, which is it'll shoot in RAW. It'll also shoot JPEGs. Yeah, it's for stills. Okay. And it also shoots 4K video. So it's really cool. So and then you also have Ricoh, which makes the Theta.
Okay. Wait. Before you do that, how much?
Well, this one is how much are they running it for now? I don't even know. There's a sale going on right now. Let's see. And they're giving free shipping.
And the name of the place where you can get it.
Insta360. So it's $269 right now.
Very cool.
Yeah. Now Ricoh makes another model, and that's what I had before this, the Theta V. But this one is more expensive and has very similar feature set. So I'd recommend this one over the Theta V, but these are the two that you kind of compare to one another.
Sure.
You say, well, do I get the Ricoh or do I get the Insta360 one? I'm not sure. Now there's a step down from that where you can go down to the Insta360 Nano.
Okay.
And you can go a step up where you can go to the Pro model, but then you're talking a few $1,000s.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Now this one, is that a 1/4-20 on the bottom? So, so you can put it on.
You can mount it to anything.
Yeah.
It actually has a mode on it that you can screw it into a rope adapter and then swing it around and do bullet time. You remember that stuff from The Matrix where they do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So it is ridiculous, but you can do it.
Okay.
So what else you got?
Next up, I have, so obviously you guys know I'm into video. One of the other things that I found is really helpful is when I have a 2-up shot, I have two people there, and they're either interviewing one another or both addressing the camera. They're both talking. It's kind of tough because I have a mic like this with a 20-foot cord, but when I've got two people, you got to find the place right in the middle of the two people, and it gets kind of clunky.
Hard.
And so I got this from B&H. It's a Polson. And this microphone is actually two microphones, 10 feet in between the two microphones, and 10 feet overall back to the camera.
So it's like a Y splitter.
Yeah. And so you could have a couple of people on camera, both with the lapel mic. And this whole thing was like, there it is, $44.95 at B&H Photo. So
Very
the
cool.
Polson OLM20 dual omnidirectional lavalier microphone. Very cool setup.
So I've got one here for smartphone users who like to plan their photography trips, especially people, if you're like me, you're doing landscapes or something like that, landscapes, night photography, astrophotography, something like that. You have to plan your shoot a lot of times because you're like, well, I kind of want the sun to be here. I kind of want the moon to be here. I kind of want the galaxy to be here and stuff like that. So, or you're doing that against a monument or something like that. There are a lot of cool apps out there for that, but I found a couple that are really cool for planning. One that's really, I like how simple it is to use is this app called PhotoPills. So I believe it's like $9, but you get the augmented reality with it where you can actually see where the sun's gonna be at any time.
That is
you can actually
incredible.
go years into the future and plan. So if you got a trip coming next year, you could see where the sun's going to be at a certain location at a certain time.
I can just see on the phone, you're talking to a client.
Yep.
And they're talking about, well, you haven't been to our office yet, but we're going to have you stand out in front of the building, or we're going to do it in a park or whatever. And you're looking on your phone and you go, well, I'm not really sure that we want to do it then. We probably want to do it a couple hours earlier because we're going to have hard shadows when this is going on. And, and they're going to be blown away.
You could definitely do that. I mean, you could plan down to the exact minutes that certain things are going to happen
and places you've never been. That just is so cool.
Now, if you want to go beyond that and start getting like really crazy with it, there is this other app, which it's the photographers, Ferris, or I forget what it's, Ferris. It's a Latin term for basically how the tracking the celestial beings in the sky. It's a Greek or Latin term. But anyways, it's a weird name, but a cool app.
Ephemeris.
There you go. But what's cool about it is they have this one that's 3D now. So they released it this year, and what it does is it actually takes the topography of the land, so you can actually see how the light's going to fall.
Now, is this U.S. or worldwide?
I believe this is worldwide. I don't. Oh, it's available now in Ireland and New Zealand too. So I'm guessing that they're starting to get it worldwide or something like that. I'm not sure. You'd have to check in your local areas. But what's really cool about it is it does show how you really can take, and it'll show you as the sun's rising in certain locations with the topography, and it'll show you how that's going to fall in the mountains or where the sun's going to be in the sky or stuff like that, which you can really get crazy with it. But this one, a little bit more complex. The PhotoPills app is like super easy to use. So if you're like, I just want a super easy one, PhotoPills. If you're wanting one where like, I want to be able to do everything and plan everything, and this one will even allow you, they have a feature in it to where you can actually search. Like I saw a demo where it was like, I want the Eiffel Tower with the moon on the left side of it at a 20-degree angle, and it'll search the next 5 years and figure out the dates that'll happen. And in the next 5 years, it's only going to happen once, is what they show. So if you want that shot, you got to go at this time, at this moment, in this year, at this minute to get that shot. But it'll do that.
Then it'll be cloudy.
Yeah, well, then it could be cloudy, and then it'd ruin that.
Talk pricing and...
yeah, so Photo Pills, I know is $9.
Right.
This one, I believe, is also like $12. This one's... But you can actually get this with their other app for like $18. You can get it all bundled together with their other app. This just does the 3D part of it. So if you want the planning stuff, you kind of have to get the other app. So like I said, Photo Pills is really awesome if you just want simple, easy, cool.
I know you're iOS only. Do you know if Photo Pills is
Photo Pills
Android?
is Android and iOS.
Good.
And I do not know about the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
We are really close to time, but I have one more thing.
We got a couple more, yeah. We got time for a couple more.
You have a couple more? Okay.
Yeah.
And then also let's see what else is up there.
Bruce Williams is saying Photo Pills is the rock solid app.
Yeah.
Price. Yeah, Photo Pills is my favorite. The other one
Chris Wiley
is cool.
said the same thing. Photo Pills is a great app.
I love that one. Yeah.
Okay, so one thing that I ordered, and it actually is arriving as we're here on set, is a silly little thing. And one of the things that I've noticed getting into simple video, so single camera, single microphone, simple video, sometimes the person that is recording in it, sometimes it's me, sometimes it's a client, they're just a little too loud. They hit a peak. They pop. And with... You know how there are certain things that you just can't fix? A blown out highlight in Photoshop, you just can't fix it. It's all white. It's blown out. There's no detail there to fix it. Well, that's the same thing with audio. When you peak in audio, you've blown out the audio. It's too loud. And the solution that professionals know about is you use multiple recording devices. One is really loud and one is turned down a few decibels. And so you're capturing two separate audio tracks at the same time. That can get really challenging. Again, it gets kind of nerdy. And if you're just getting into doing simple video, I found this really cool product, and it's on screen right now, and I would show you in person, but it's actually in my mailbox as we speak. It's a little Y splitter, and you plug in one microphone into the red and one microphone into the black. And what it does is your camera is recording stereo, and it takes either microphone and it puts one in the right channel and one in the left channel. And so then if you have a microphone set up and I'm recording somebody, I might put one microphone like in the right place on their shirt or in the lapel area, but I might put another microphone nearby, hidden in their clothing somewhere a little bit further away. So I'm recording two levels
just in case one
simultaneously.
Yeah.
And if one goes too loud, then you bring in the audio from the other one, and you don't have that problem.
That's
you don't
cool,
have that issue. Yeah. And it's $7. So very cool. And I got mine.
Do you teach people how to do that in your class?
I teach people. No, I don't teach this. I teach how to, how to put the mic, where to put the mic and stuff like that. But I don't go over the top with all the nerdy stuff.
Cool. Yeah, that's really neat. Yeah. I just got a couple more things. One is we were talking about in the beginning with these battery packs. One of the cool things that you can get that I use a lot, especially in traveling or you're going to be out remotely, and that is a USB charger for your battery packs. So this is a Canon one. So for Canon batteries for my camera, I could take these batteries, plug them into a USB charger, and then it's going to charge my batteries. And you can actually get on this one on Amazon with it's got a built-in cord. So it's got a USB cord that you can't lose because that's a big thing. It also has one where you can plug one in as well. You can get it, just the charger is $12, which I would recommend doing because the battery's not the greatest, but the charger's cool, for $12.
That's ridiculous. I'm buying one today.
Yeah. Now there is a cool aftermarket battery that I have found for the Canons that I know Canon would say don't use it, but I found that it actually lasts a little longer.
Which one is it? Because I bought some no-name aftermarket Canon batteries for my Canons that I went back and I'm only buying Canon batteries.
It is this one right here, this STK. I'm telling you, this one I've tested it out, lasts longer than the Canon battery.
Okay, so my experience with all these aftermarket Canon batteries is they work great for a month.
Yeah, and then they're garbage.
And then they're absolutely terrible. They won't hold the charge.
This one's $14, and it's actually been good for like months.
That's testimony. That is a great thing.
I actually found this one is really good. Like if I would say one now, Canon's going to tell you buy their batteries, which their batteries are the best.
Yeah, they are.
But they're also $60.
Yeah,
this one's $14.
I'm gonna buy a handful of those.
But you could buy a handful of those, charge them up with a USB, and then there you go.
You just ended your recommendations with stuff I'm gonna absolutely buy before I even leave the set.
There you go. And then one last one, I'm really excited about this one, and I want to figure out, like I've never played around with this.
Yeah.
I've seen their videos, but Light actually, they have this cool L16 camera, which is kind of like a upgrade to the smartphone camera.
Yeah.
Without that size of the DSLR, and that you're gonna have, it has all these sensors in it. It actually takes 10 images at once, combines them together with the computer, their computer inside.
I remember when this was
focal lengths, and you can do focal lengths after with it. I'm really excited to see what this camera is going to produce, and it's cool that they're actually shipping it, because this was like 2 years ago they announced it.
We were talking about it when it was announced, and I'm like, that's going to be amazing.
Years ago they announced it, and now they're actually starting to ship these things, so it's really cool. I can't wait to see what
the price on it.
Now, it is expensive.
I like how you say that.
It's $2,000.
Okay, I don't want one yet.
But I'm really interested to see what people create with it.
Yeah.
Because of the form factor and how it's built and stuff like that. I mean, I think that's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
So
next holiday special.
That's the real break the bank one.
It is, but next holiday special we'll be going, hey, it's on sale for $149.
I hope. Either that or it's going to then. Well, the problem is at that point it's going to be a Lytro.
Yeah.
You remember the Lytro?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that happened, where it was like, oh, this is going to be great, and then the next year they're selling them for like $99.
Yeah, and they actually just pulled back. I read an article this week that they pulled back on some of their online sharing of their stuff. So that's unfortunate. Well, this will be cool if it hits the market in the right way.
If it does what it's claiming it's going to be able to do. But yeah, so we never talked about contest, which we do have to wrap up the show, but we never talked about the contest.
And maybe a membership to what's that place? Kelby?
Oh yeah. Well, the other thing, if you want to enter the contest, though, we'll give away a Platypod Ultra and Scott's Flashbook. And just enter the contest, fill out the form, tell us what you'd like to win. This is another thing that I know we talked about it last week, and I probably shouldn't talk about it, but this is something that I use all the time.
You and me both.
Yeah.
This one is in my camera bag. The other one is on my wife's makeup table with.
And I have one of these actually over in
the Ultra.
I have the big one over about 100 miles away right now, sitting on an Air Force base, nailed to the ground. So
very
see
cool.
how that works.
Very cool.
Yeah. So they're just the neatest thing. So and then what else? Yeah. The other good gift to give a photographer, there's two great gifts to give a photographer. One is a Kelby One membership. If you're not a Kelby One member, it's definitely the best deal out there for getting up to speed with photography, growing your photography, being part of a community of photographers. Like it's a great tool.
And at any level.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just getting started, whatever kind of photography you want to learn.
It's different than, I don't know, I've given a testimonial on something that, obviously I work there.
Yeah.
But still, it's an awesome community to where you can grow your photography. It's so much more than just I'm watching training videos, or I'm getting these presets, or I'm doing this. Like I'm part of something. And we just had a gallery showing this last weekend with one of our members who came in. You got to interview him, and he was an awesome guy.
Very cool.
And Steve, he did some awesome pictures of Myanmar, and we got to hear his story. And if you're a Kelby One member, you can go watch that in the. If you didn't check it out, watch that in the webcast section. So we have that. You can also gift that membership to somebody if you want. So if that's something you want to gift to somebody, you can gift it for the holidays. And the other thing that is like, again, the epitome, you know, like this is the big thing is a Photoshop World pass, you know, is, you know, if you haven't been to Photoshop World, come into Photoshop World. I think that's the place that Kelby One comes alive. That's the place that, you know, we've been there, you know, you've been there forever.
I've been to every single Photoshop World.
You've been to every single one. I've been for the last like 20 some or something like that.
It's an incredible experience, but what's so much fun for me is people that I meet at Photoshop World then come to me a year or two later, and they're incredible photographers, artists, retouchers, and they said, you know, I went to Photoshop World in Orlando, I went to Photoshop World in Las Vegas 3 years ago or whatever, and now all of a sudden you see this just phenomenal work, and they're getting featured in magazines and amazing stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, just, you know, check out that at photoshopworld.com. You can buy a pass. You can also do, we have workshops there. We have portfolio reviews. There's tons of stuff you can pursue it. And then it's just a cool, fun event. I've been to a lot of conferences, and there's not any that are as fun as Photoshop World.
It's the one where all the instructors, because I've been to a lot of these photography industry things, it's the one where the instructors, when you're walking down the hall,
you actually see them.
You see them
and be able to talk to them.
And when you say hi to any of them, they'll stop and talk to you.
Oh yeah.
It's the coolest thing, unless they're running to a class.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I have never had that experience in any other type of trade show environment like Photoshop World. It's incredible.
Well, that has to wrap it up because Meredith's about to, you know, explode in the control room. We're going over, so we got to wrap it up here. But we're glad you guys joined us. And next week we believe Scott's back. I'm not sure if who the guest is next week, but
I don't know.
You know, tune in next week and you'll see. So thanks for joining us, and Larry, thanks. And if people want to learn more about you, where do they go?
LarryBecker.tv will work.
LarryBecker.tv. So where you're talking about. So cool. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next week.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Tamron, professional photographic lenses.